Welcome to Branding Chiropractic. We talk with chiropractors who are growing practices and changing lives every day. Our mission is to brand the future of chiropractic through engaging content that educates communities on the power of chiropractic care. Join us today at brandchiro.com.
Hey guys, welcome to Brand Chiro's first podcast. I'm excited for this first episode. We have an awesome doctor who's a Brand Chiro client. We've done some video work for them. It's Dr. Chris Odom with 100% Chiropractic. He's located in Sharpsburg and Noonan. He's right kind of on a dividing line. And you actually just told me an interesting little funny story about your location. We'll come back to that though. Let's rewind and give me just a brief summary from going from DC chiropractic school into where you are now. Just briefly, I kind of know that story, but I'd love to people to know a little bit of your background.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like when I graduated in 2008 is when I graduated. At the very end of it in December. It was kind of the common story then. It might be different now. There's different groups and organizations, but then like I graduated and I was like, and the whole time I was going through school, I was like, yeah, man, like I'm a doctor. I'm going to be able to go get a small business loan because I'm a doctor. You know, I have a professional degree, go open up. It's, you know, not it's going to be easy, but like I'll have opportunities to go open up an office, yada, 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 right? So as I start getting near graduation, I come to find out that idea was false. That didn't quite work out that way. But it's okay. I just didn't know, man. Like I didn't know things like that. But so I graduated from life in 2008 at the end of it. And then I joined like this one. They don't exist anymore. I don't think these things exist where like these people like help you open up offices and they take a whole bunch of money from you and stuff like that. These coaching groups and stuff. I don't know if they exist so much anymore. So I did that right out of school and I opened up this, opened up an office in Savannah, Georgia, like right after school with one of these companies. It was an awful business relationship and that it was just awful in general. Like everything they said they were going to help me with, they did zero. So we came to agreement that this sucks. And we split ways. I think I sold the office to him for $1. I can't remember. It was something crazy. Wow. It was basically just to get away. I don't remember the whole story, but that was basically it. Right. So then after that, I kind of got, I don't know, beat up and taken advantage of a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I was 26 when I graduated, which I guess is like a good age or as an adult, but I didn't know. All I did was go to school. So at the time I had like, I didn't really know things, I guess. So then I went and I was an associate for a long time, a very, very long time. I will say 6 or 7 years, something like that, with the same place. And I worked in a very high volume office. It was great. I learned a lot. I kind of came out of there like a chiropractic ninja, like, you know, cause I got to see so many people. Right. Yeah. But as I was going through that, like, you know, going through this, you know, working, and then I came to the agreement with the doctor that I was where he had a couple offices, and like, you know, I was like, hey, I'm going to get out of here soon. You know what I mean? I don't want to be an associate forever. You know, I'm going to try to do whatever. He was like, hey man, if you work here for another year, at this pay rate, I'll help you open up an office financially. I'll loan you the money or whatever. And I was like, yeah, it's perfect. You know, all we did was handshake on it. Like I didn't get anything signed. I believed him, man. You know what I mean? And then come to find out at the end of that year, he was like, oh no, man, I don't want to do that. You should just stay here. And I was like, dude, man, like, that was the exact opposite of what we just talked about. You know what I mean? Right. Yeah. So I did that. The whole, you know, a lot of chiropractors get beat up as an associate. So like I had good and bad experience with that. I got lied to at the end and, you know, all that type of stuff, but that's okay. And then, so after that, I was like, screw this noise. So then I went and worked at Life University, which is where I met you. I met you. Right. Yeah. We worked at the Vital Life Clinic in downtown Atlanta. Right. So I worked there for a while. We always, the group that when we were there, we looked at ourselves as like the kids from Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. They get picked off one by one as they go.
And no one got the golden ticket though. You got it at the beginning, but it didn't stay.
If we're going with that analogy, then I would have been Charlie on that one, because I made it to the end on that one. So I made it to the end when as that went through there, and then I didn't even know what 100% chiropractic was at the time, because it wasn't a thing when I was in school, because I graduated in 2008, and at this time it was like years later. So as all that happened, all that was going down, Dr. Weekman connected me with 100. He's awesome. He's an awesome guy. He connected me with like the owners of 100% Chiropractic, like the CEOs and stuff of all that of the franchise, which I didn't even know existed, or he was going to do that. Right. So I was, fast forward a little bit, I was unemployed. So like, cause I just got let go. So I was sitting, just to paint a word picture, I lived in Swanee, Georgia at the time. So I was sitting in my garage in my swimming trunks cause it was hot. So my son was outside running around or whatever. I didn't have a shirt on cause I was tanning. I was just chilling. I was on vacation. Right. And then I was sitting out there, and my son's riding his bike in the driveway, like, "Hey daddy, look at me," or whatever. And I was like, out there with him. And then I got on my cell phone, like someone called me, and it was from Colorado Springs. And this is weird because like I never answer anybody's cell phone. I never answer my cell phone if I don't know who it is. Like I'm like, nah, I'm good. I don't know. Right. I never answer unknown numbers. So, but this time I was like, cool, I'm just chilling. So I was like, let's see who this is. So I answered it, and it was a doctor named Dr. Brandon. And at the time I didn't know him. And he was like, "Hey, I'm Dr. Brandon from 100% Chiropractic." I was like, "Who? What? What is that?" Right. Yeah. And he was like, "Hey, Dr. Reitman said we should give you a call," and went through some stuff. And he started telling me what 100% Chiropractic was. And I was like, "Heck yeah, man, this sounds awesome." You know what I mean? So anyway, long story short, as we went through that, I went and I was like, right on mission. They were right on mission with my mission. So then I went all in, and I bought a franchise, and now I'm a very happy and proud owner of 100% Chiropractic. But it was a while to get there. I've been in practice, I think, I can't do math very well, 12 years almost. So it took about 10 to get to that journey and through there. And I couldn't be happier. I mean, I wish I would have done that. I wish they would have been around, and I would have been 100% owner right off the bat, but I ended up right where I needed to be. So it's been pretty cool.
Yeah. It's kind of a catch-22 where on one hand, yeah, I could have gone in this straight away, saved myself some pain and trouble, but at the other time you learn a lot too, right? There's all those years of you learn what not to do or what really worked well, and made being in practice much more comfortable, because we at Brand Chiro, we work with a lot of people who are graduating, and then 6 months later they're in their first month of practice, right? Terrifying time, a lot of unknowns. Most of them come from specific like mentorship groups, so they have a good relationship with people that can educate them along the way. But at the same time, most of them don't have kind of the experience you have, where it's 10 years of experience with other people's projects, knowing that, hey, when I finally do mine, here's what I'm going to do. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember when I first graduated, I thought I was the jam, right? I was pretty good at adjusting it for like a new graduate. I mean, I wasn't the worst. I was pretty good for a new graduate, but looking back then, I was like, yeah, I'm getting good at adjusting with my left hand. You know what I mean? Like, so like, I don't have to worry about that anymore. Like, I can't imagine like starting a practice and being an entrepreneur, because like, the doctor part takes care of itself, but I can't imagine like starting a practice, becoming an entrepreneur and going, man, you know what? Sometimes I can't just go with my left hand. I'm right. Like, I can't even imagine that being, I mean, I know it would have been, but I can't literally right now, I can't even imagine that being a thing. So so there are some bonuses.
Yeah, because it's a different weight on your shoulders when it's your practice, your name really on it. When you're in a student clinic, you're just getting people coming in the community. At that point, it's like, oh no, it's on me to learn, but I'm also doing it to pass the course, and then eventually it's a different kind of pressure. But when it's all on you and it's your name, and it's like, if I don't help these people out during like their corrective care phase or whatever it may be, 3-6 months from now, not only are they going to leave, they're not going to inspire other people to come either. And there's that weight of chiropractic may not be right for me or for anyone, right? Like, I have friends that even after running Brand Chiro for 5 years now, I'm still trying to convince them chiropractic is awesome. and just because they had the one bad experience, right? Or they talked to someone that it didn't really do anything for them, and a lot of the time it obviously is based on the chiropractor, but it's also based on their mindset too, their personal mindset and what they learned, what they soaked in from it. So yeah, I applaud you for having all that experience and still figuring out along the way. Tell me the story about your location, and it kind of goes into the question of what was the what were kind of some challenges of opening up? Not that this was a big challenge, it's kind of more of a funny point, but what were some of kind of the challenges of opening up, and like how did you overcome those?
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of challenges. It's a fun process once you go through it. Like, because once you go through it, it's the first time you go through a lot of stuff, right? You have to learn a bunch of new vocabulary. So yeah, about where I'm at, like I am in Noonan, Georgia, kinda. So like I was looking for the Noonan area. That was my goal, like Noonan, Peachtree City, somewhere into there. That's where I was kind of looking at. So, I was going through the whole process, and then I found my location. And then the story I was telling you, when I went and signed the lease, it said Sharpsburg, Georgia. And I was like, what's a Sharpsburg? Like, I've never heard of that before. And they're like, dude, you're in Sharpsburg. I was like, oh, for real? I was like, where's Noonan at? They're like across the street. So like, I'm in this like tri-county like area where I have 3 cities. And I'm kind of like right in the middle of the 3 cities right in through there. Yeah. As far as challenges, man, it's so many. That's a hard question.
Here's a good question, I'm going to say it's a good question. How was opening up in a new city like that for you, and knowing those 3 areas, right? Because a lot of people open up in bigger cities where there are a bunch of little cities. You're near Atlanta. My office is in Buckhead, where you can just go to the left and there's this city, and the right there's this city. So they're around a bunch of little communities. So for you were having to learn what's probably really kind of interacts as one big community, but it is 3 different communities. So how was that process?
It's kind of weird. They're different too. Like they are. Peachtree City's a lot different. It's just a lot different than like Noonan and Sharpsburg. Like it's a different thing. Yeah, it's weird. Like like the roads. Like where's the stick points in the roads? Like my spot's pretty cool, but like I didn't realize because I'm not from the area, right? I'm from like pretty close to there, but I've never actually lived in Noonan before. But like where I'm at, like it's really hard for it really. I hate going to Peachtree City during lunchtime just because of the traffic. You know what I mean? Because there's just one like stick spot where it should take you 30 seconds, but sometimes it takes like 15, 20 minutes to get through this red light. So like I thought I had the sweet, which my spot is sweet, but like there is like little unknown things like that unless you live in the area that I couldn't predict. But it's all good. But like, that's probably the hardest thing to get to know the area, because like the people are great. You just kind of learning the roads and the sticky spots and where you should go and stuff like that. For our spot, I mean, our spot's pretty awesome. I love it, except for like it's hard to get to sometimes. Yeah.
So a lot of our clients open up their practices from blank slate basically, but you went with franchise model. So do you have any kind of tips or insights to making that process easier if they went with someone like 100% chiropractic?
Yeah, I love it, man. I super love it. So like how this works is like I own my franchise. It's like any other franchise in the world, not like one of the weird chiropractic franchises. So like I own it, and it's fantastic. I love it. I love it more than anything because like I'm not a details guy. I'm not gonna lie. Like some people are like super controlling and like need to know like all the details about things. Like for instance, like when I buy clothes, like at the store, I buy them off the mannequin. Like I don't like the piece of shirt and pants, and I don't like to piece it together. But I'll look at a mannequin, I'm like, man, that joint looks good together. I'll buy the whole thing. Like I'm like, that looks good, so I'll buy it. So that's one of the cool things. There's a lot of cool things about 100%, but as far as like kind of what you're talking about, like I didn't have to pick out the light fixtures and the color of the back wall. And then like, does this match this? Does this carpet look good? Stuff like that. Did they have like, I call them mannequins when people come to ask me about 100%. There's like 5 mannequins you can pick from and they're all awesome. You know what I mean? They all look like top notch offices. You can just pick the one that, you most resonate with, and like, it's all put together and it all looks nice, and it's made by people that do that for a living. Like, you know what I mean? It's made to look awesome. So, yeah, that's how 100% rolls, man. It's great. If you don't get that in your friend, wherever you're at, you should get that, because I love that more than anything. Like sometimes I've been open like 2 years, so it doesn't happen too much anymore. But for like the first, like maybe year I was open, I would walk by and like see like a little fixture or a little chain hanging a light I never looked at before. I'm like, oh, look at that little detail there. I didn't pick it out. Like I'm like, oh, that's so awesome. I mean, I know the office, but sometimes like I'll notice like a little small thing and I'm like, oh, that's awesome, man. I'm glad they thought of that.
Yeah. Yeah, really, like you said, it really helps out the non-detailed oriented people for sure, taking care of a lot of that. Because I know a lot of people get lost in the details from, especially the build out. It's interesting you talked about layout and build out, because that is one of the toughest things. Because a lot of times you're just using a local contractor that you find and explaining to them the process of well, we have to have our x-ray room needs to have this, or our adjusting bays, we should do this, or, whatever it may be. You kind of have to walk them through that, which can be a pain for a lot of people. And there's a lot of those details to keep up with too. In terms of also starting a business, figuring out the financials, figuring out your flow, figuring out your HR system, and all of that, even the marketing side, which is, why we're here to try to make that a little bit easier. But yeah, there's so many details to it.
I don't have to figure anything out. Like, I don't have to make paperwork. Like, I don't have to make legal forms. I don't have to figure out anything. I don't have to figure out marketing. You know what I mean? Which, it's great. Like, I just trust in the people that do that. That's what they do, man. And then it's great. It's awesome. It's like I have a whole team, man, instead of being like a mom and pop shop where I'm literally just a pop, you know what I mean, in the office. I got like this huge team, man. There's like 30 or 40 doctors in the company, like offices and doctors. There's a corporate, and we're just one big family, and we just lean on each other. And like, if there's a question, we just reach out and ask. And I have so many people practicing the same way that I am. It's great, man. Like, instead of being like on my own or on an island, or like, everything's bigger and grander than it would be if I did it on my own, which is like, it's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. I love that idea of being able to really focus on what you do best, which, is showing the power of chiropractic care and that healing. So that kind of leads me to my next question. In terms of some of the best times you've had or the greatest things you've seen in your practice, since you haven't had to focus on as many of the details and the minutia of, working in the business. It's a common thing with building businesses now, as everyone says, work on your business, not in it. And for you, being hands-on with chiropractic is working on it and in it kind of at the same time, right? But you've been able to really focus on, adjusting better with your left hand. And no,
I'm good. I'm super good at that now. I was talking about like 12 years ago. I'm the jam at that. I've been the jam at that for a minute.
All right. We'll hold you to that one. All right. I'm gonna play some B-roll that I captured at your place, and we're gonna play it over this segment right now. Yeah. We'll play that B-roll in slow motion and zoom in and make sure. No, but really, what are some of the best moments you've had? Like, what are those moments that really made that previous 10 years of just kind of figuring out where you were going with it, made it all worth it in your own practice now?
Yeah, it's been fairly recent actually. Cause like, I don't know if I have a big team, but for me, I have a big team. Like, I have a lot of front desk and CAs, I have office manager, massage therapists, like stuff like that. So the team's getting big. And so that's awesome. So now I'm an employer for these people, which is like, I look at like, sometimes we went to, where did we go? We went to a Christmas party during Christmas time. Sorry. And then I looked around at the table. I was like, we had a huge table, man, of all these people that were there. And I was like, oh my God, man. Like, I thought it was just going to be me adjusting somebody, like, when I graduated school. But then I have like all these people that my passion and my drive is allowing them to have employment, and them love the employment, which is pretty cool. So that was our Christmas party was a big one, this past Christmas party, because it was like, I was like, when we booked it, I was like, we need that many seats. You know what I mean? I was like, that's crazy. And it was great. And then here recently, we've had like a lot of students and doctors come. They come to, they go anywhere they want and ask about 100% or check it out. But like they come to our office because we're a fun, positive, it's a good place to be. So we have a lot of doctors, a lot of students coming asking questions, which is great. So I get to kind of pour into them, which is my favorite thing to do, actually. And then within our company, we have a lot of my fellow brothers and sisters in 100%, and just other doctors in general. They call the office to train with us. To answer your question, I guess a little bit more direct, my happiest moments now are when it's not about me. So they want to call my office manager and ask her how she does this, or they want to call this person and learn and train on this. I mean, I'm out of it. No one wants to talk to me. Like, it's great. I mean that in a great way. At first, it's always like, oh, Dr. Odom, or doctor. And now I'm like, now everyone's like, I want to talk to this person, because like all these people are becoming leaders underneath me. It's almost to the point where I have to get out of the way. Like, sometimes I'm in the way, and it's great. Like, to see all these people being able to pour into other people and be happy and it's great. That's my favorite part. So I don't know if that makes sense or not, but that's my favorite part.
No, totally. And I've had the same kind of interactions with some of our clients of being in that second, third year phase where there's a few CAs and there's the actual need for the office manager that's full-time and is not a partial CA and office manager. Like, I've talked to a lot of them that are kind of going through that phase, and that's one thing everybody agrees on is that is the coolest part. One of the most stressful parts for a lot of people, if they're not really business people, so to speak, or entrepreneurs, they can kind of struggle with that part of having other people rely on them for that. But once you know that for you personally as a chiropractor that you are, changing lives, improving people's health, and that's driving all that, like you could just keep doing the same thing. That's really cool.
So one of the things I was gonna say, man, like you used to talk about being an entrepreneur, like, for my experience, like right when I graduated school, it was like such a love bubble, man. Like in school, it's all about helping and serving and giving, which is great. And it helped make me the person I am today. And then I don't say mentor, but I say mentor or job that I had, it was like almost like faux pas to talk about business and money and being successful. It was all about helping an extremely high amount of people, which is great. I do like that, but not, I don't know, having it being kind of like taboo to talk about, yeah, man, we kick ass at business too. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to be a failure at anything I do. I don't want to just adjust a bunch of people and be like a small business failure. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be successful in everything. I hate mediocrity, So that was kind of like a thing that I had instilled into me, is like, don't talk about money and business success. You just adjust people and change lives, which is great. But now, where I'm at now, it's like I got a hefty kick in the butt on how to be an awesome entrepreneur. So that way I can still adjust a bunch of people and change lives, and to not be, not great at other areas, like, the whole office as a whole, instead of it just being all service, like just all taking care of people. But like the office is great, and then I could hire the people and like, pour back into the office and make it look nice and hire the awesome staff. And, so that's been like, you brought the word entrepreneur up. That's probably been the biggest change of the past three years of my life, is I got a swift kick in the butt on how important that is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. You have to, if you own it, you have to really own it. I've learned that same thing too, the past few years as well, growing businesses. So I guess my real final question is if you have any kind of insight, or, I don't want to do I don't need the typical answer of like work hard and stay motivated, but I'd love to know what really drove you when, all this time going from graduation to, today, running your own practice and seeing it grow and thrive. What are some kind of the biggest tips or thoughts to people who are kind of either in that same space or maybe haven't even graduated yet, that kind of like run the gamut?
That's a good question. Like, what got me through there, and this might sound weird, I don't know, is I hate mediocrity and like fear of failure. Maybe in the beginning it was fear of failure. Like, I was like, I'm not going to be a failure in life. I'm not going to do it, man. So like, I had like, I have a mentor of mine, used to always say, you have to be like a ravenous dog looking at a T-bone steak. And I took that to heart. So like, I had the T-bone steak in front of me, and sometimes I had to keep, that was the goal. And sometimes I had to modify the goal. Even when things got a little heavy on me, but I was just like ravenous and went after it, just because like in the beginning, I think it was fear of failure for myself. And then now, after getting past that, it being like, I'm more fearful of mediocrity than I am of failure. At least from failure, you try and I can learn from it, but like staying in stagnation and mediocrity is one of the things like I despise in like all areas of my life. I know it sounds kind of weird, but like, I just can't be mediocre. Like, I always want to get better. And then keeping my eye on the prize and just, like relentless pursuit over a one focal goal, I guess would be my that's kind of what got me through there. So, when I graduated, even like, I'm like my personal preference, or like how I practice chiropractic, is very principled. So like, I didn't get distracted by anything. It was just like, mankind needs this. I have been chosen for this. I'm very good at this for some reason. It resonates with me. So like, I have value. This isn't a coincidence. So let's express this out to the world. And I just knew that I could help somebody. In the beginning, it was like when I first graduated chiropractic schools, I'm going to help one person. I'm going to change their life. It's going to be fantastic. Like that got me so fired up to think like, man, I'm going to change someone's life, dude. That's crazy. And then after that, I was like, well, I'm going to change a bunch of people's lives, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to change, you know what I mean? It just kept growing. And then so that everlasting pursuit for the T-bone steak, and then not wanting to let people down that come into the office. I guess that's all kind of the same pursuit of just like wanting to help serve, not be mediocre, grow, do better. I know if I did those things, like my life would expand and become more abundant. And then so would the peoples that I touch, whether it's patients, them healing and changing how they look at things and their health changing, becoming more abundant, and then the team that we bring in, and then, or my family, or all that type of stuff. So like, I just wanted abundance and happiness for anybody that came in contact with me. And I knew if I just got stuck in quicksand, or got distracted, that me personally, that my gifts would be wasted, and then I wouldn't be able to do that. So it gets back to fear of failure. Sorry, I've never thought about that question. Sorry, I'm kind of doing that live with you. But yeah, so fear of failure. I don't want to fail myself, fail my family, fail the people I come in contact. Fail the future me, like what I could become. You know what I mean? Like have regrets on what I could have become. I want to become the person I saw when I first signed the application form for Life University. You know what I mean? So I think I'm well on track for that. I don't know. There's probably some bumps in the way, but I guess that's what keeps me going.
Yeah, I think it's always a learning process of trying to figure out who you are, because you kind of shape shift over time. Sometimes I find myself sometimes almost tricking myself into thinking I'm something that different or that I want to be, and then moving into that spot. Like vision casting is what a lot of people use, right? I want to be this, and I want to do this. This is my goal. How do I get there? How does it improve me personally, relationally, entrepreneurially? So it's always kind of a journey, really, no matter what phase you're in, because, 20 months into the practice and it's growing, right? Another 20 months, maybe in a whole different place too. And then you're like, how do we expand here, and what's next, kind of thing. So that hunger is what keeps most chiropractors going, from what I've seen in different aspects of personal life, all the way to their patients, to the practice. So it's cool. It's cool that you're figuring that out. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on it. I appreciate it. Everybody can check out, where can people find you most of the time?
I don't know, man. I'm pretty Googleable. Our office, 100% Chiropractic Noonan. If you just Google that, you can find us, man. We're everywhere.
Yeah. Cool. And you do a lot of great Facebook. If you're looking for ideas for Facebook videos, he does an awesome job filming himself throughout the weeks and creating little educational pieces for his patients. I know a lot of our clients are doing that too, but you probably do it, as best as anyone I've seen. So they're really cool. I follow them. So find them on Facebook, check out their website. And if you're in the Atlanta area, if you're a Life University student getting ready to graduate, I'm sure you can reach out to Dr. Chris, and he'll kind of help you out on, different ways to look at practices differently when you're opening them, or the in-between, whether associating is what you're planning to do. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you around.
Whether you're opening a new practice or have been around for years, we'd love to be your online marketing team. We create a true, holistic marketing system that includes websites, videos, SEO, and online advertising to grow your practice. Let our team grow yours. Join us today at brandchiro.com.